Hello and welcome to the 6th edition of Your Nightlife.
It is Saturday, April 22nd, 2006, and tonight we are bringing you another edition of UR Nightlife.
Hells yeah, byotches. We just got to this great party at Genesee Street.
That's right.
Just in time. The buzzes are just leaving me. I was drinking in the chapel tonight.
We're in the 19th ward, so probably a lot of crazy riots and stuff will break out.
Some racism.
Yeah, definitely.
Am I in frame? Yes, I am. Okay. Yeah. All right. I will hit record on this meeting.
All right.
And
Recording in progress.
excellent.
I'm Russell Wyner, co-founder of URTV. Do you want to start things off?
URTV.
Do you want to see some of the TV room? We can spin the camera around.
Is it still at the top of the library?
It is not. We're in Todd Union, and this is our lovely home. We have a little logo over there. Green screen back here. Dubious looking couch. Yeah.
They always say creativity comes from limitations. So.
Yeah. Here's another relic. Donkey Kong bongos. We don't know where those
Oh my
came
god. I know whose those are. Wait, who's?
That's
Donkey
amazing.
Konga.
Yeah.
Was the game.
So these are that old.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that no one in TV has ever thrown anything away.
I was literally talking to the guy whose Donkey Konga that is today.
Oh, that's great.
Hold on one second.
What's like the story behind starting URTV? I know there was like an older iteration of the club that you kind of restarted.
So, I believe what happened was originally, a few years before I was there, they set up a channel on TV. And then they had a closed circuit that only broadcast on campus, and they were using that to show like independent films. Like the school bought a collection of like artistic indie films or something, and they were just showing those on loop. And what they had was a few VHS decks that were like triggered when one was done, the next one would play and rewind the first one. Still before me, maybe like the year before I showed up, a club did try to turn that into a student-run television station. And from what I hear, it fell apart. Everyone stole all the equipment. One guy was like still a student and came to one of our first meetings and told us, "Yeah, fell apart. I got all this free equipment. You can't have it." My best friend, who ended up being my sophomore year roommate in college, he had come from, and we met kind of in video class together. And we were actually from the same hometown, but we went to different high schools, so we never knew each other until we got there. We were both from Newton. But his high school was affiliated with the local Newton TV channel, so he kind of had the experience of doing local TV. And he kind of came to me and was like, "Want to help me start this thing up? We can get SA funding. We can do all this stuff."
Hi, I'm Dan Bromfield. I'm president of URTV.
And I'm Russell Wyner, his trusty sidekick.
And we're here at the annual 2004 Fall Activities Fair. All the student groups are out here trying to attract people to join their groups, and they're all trying to make themselves look real good. They've got a lot of interesting things to say.
So why don't we go around and probe them and find out their likes and dislikes and make them do promos for TV?
So it was me, him, and a couple other guys. And the first iteration we were using those VHS decks. But we quickly, it was an interesting time technologically. So people back then, some people had camcorders. They were like this big, and cell phones could basically take a crappy tiny photo. So it wasn't like everyone had video cameras on them all the time, right? It was like only people that chose to be shooting video would have video. But back then there was nowhere to put the video, and it was all on tapes. So this was probably a year before Facebook, a few years before YouTube. And at that time, people would make video, and then it would just like sit in a drawer. You know, tape would just collect dust over time. It was like a home video. So it was me and Dan Bromfield, and then we got a couple other guys. This guy, Matt Bonacorso, he was very technically savvy, and he was the first one to say, you know what, let's disconnect these VHS things, and we'll plug it into a laptop.
Server's out! Oh, shit! Get the server! Is it up now? Get it up! Get it up! Kill me! No! Shit! Oh, dear God! Get it up! What's going on in here? Dad! Dad! Stop! Dad! I know what the problem is! No! I know what's wrong! I need a wire! Get the server up! I'm trying to get the server! Here! Connect these wires! Do it! You know what you have to do! Come on, man! You can do it! Come on! Go! Do it! Come on! Jake! I'll do it! Jake! Yeah! Do it, Jake! He's doing it! Yeah. Do it! He's doing it! I believe in you, Jake! Do it! Yeah! Is it up? Yeah! It's up! Yeah!
And then there was a guy, John Ruskin, he was a computer engineer, and we said, hey, in your free time, can you write a program that allow us to create these like hour blocks where we can like make video hour-long segments? And back then there was no like MP4s or H.264 compression, so it was WMV was the most lightweight file. We're self-funded, so what we did was a couple things. You know, all those student groups that have things on stage, we would get paid by them to film it. We'd burn a bunch of DVDs, because that was how things were done. Sell the DVDs to their parents. So every parent would pay like $20 for a DVD of their kid dancing Bhangra, or you name it.
We should do that.
And then we'd also, you know, film some basketball games with people announcing over it. And we started meeting weekly and then bi-weekly producing shows. So we had like a talk show. I did a game show. So between filming all the student group stuff, producing these weekly shows, having pretty much anyone that gave us permission to show their student video, we kind of filled up the airways. There's a lot of things on loop. And, you know, sometimes I did a show where I would go around at night and just like film going out and then drunkenly talk about it after. It was kind of inspired by a show that was called Insomniac with David Tell. It was kind of belligerent. And what was really fun was, this was closed circuit.
United School Community. FCC immunity.
Satire, spoof, and parody.
A satisfaction guarantee.
And besides, at $30,000 a year for tuition, $9,000 for room and board, and $3,000 for books and supplies, it's absolutely free.
So, no one outside of campus could see this. No professors were watching TV. So pretty much you had like a liberal arts community of people age 18 to 21, not too picky about what's being shown. You know, you could swear, you could do whatever you want. So it was very creative. And we'd have meetings where I made us all like make puppets out of paper bags and just improvise and shoot that. And
Nice.
it was honestly kind of my top two most creative times of my life. Yeah, because you know before money is an issue, that's when you can like really do whatever you want. I'm still kind of best friends with two of the people that I founded URTV with. We all lived in New York City together I was there for like 10 years, so still in touch with them. So life-lasting relationships formed for sure.
Nice.
And most of us, you know, I'm a animator, designer, bit of a coder. Another guy, he's still a documentary producer, editor. And then another guy, he went more into marketing. Girl Katie Koblitz, the year below us, she's a documentarian too. So a lot of us, you know, URTV was such a good way to learn how to do this stuff. Kind of felt like, yeah, there was like a video department, but it's kind of like we knew more than the professors, and this was like a real motivating, you know, to know that people would just put their TV on in the background. And it was the only channel that, eventually we did have commercials to help us make money, but there were so few. So it would be like, you're watching TV, there's a commercial. Back then there was no streaming on demand. Commercial on whatever you're watching, flip to URTV, and maybe get stuck there. So we were like these like mini celebrities on campus. People would like think they knew me, but this is my face on TV. And like I said, it was before Facebook. So it was like the first experience you're having where like places you recognize would be on your screen. So it was this like interesting like YouTube meets Facebook, not on a computer, but similar, right before all that stuff came out.
Yeah. Yeah, nowadays we have a YouTube channel, and
I was just checking out the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen the shenanigans we get up to.
Ahoy.
Back in the day, I was the only Mac user of anyone in the club.
Oh yeah.
I went in the room to do, because usually we do it remotely, but sometimes the computer would crash. And we had like the laptop running, it had like a background that was just like, sorry, the station is down. You would like see that when it crashed. And then we'd have to like physically go in there. So me being a Mac user, not having experience with viruses, was the first time I was on the computer and someone IM'd me, hey, check out my vacation photos. And I clicked that and downloaded a virus on the computer. You know, it was great. It was like, we had like some real nerdy people, and then we had some like people with soft skills who were just like cool, sociable people. Put them all together, you can like figure out great things.
You said you started out with, was it like 4 members?
Yeah, so there was, me and Dan Bromfield were like the 2 founding members. He was like the president, I was the vice president. Then we had Matt Bonacorso, he was like the tech guy. He was the one that figured out how to rewire it to a laptop. He was, even though now I'm the animator, back then he was like even better at After Effects than me. He did a lot of special effects. He was very quick at editing. A guy, John Ruskin, was the one that wrote the computer code to host all that stuff. A guy named Josh Mathias.
I'm Josh Mathias, you're watching URTV Hotline.
Kind of a in front of the camera personality. He was the talk show host. Katie Koblitz was a year below us. Koblitz. She became the vice president. Below it, so yeah, there was a, you know, there was a bunch of us, we were the same age. There was like a guy, Evan Schoberline, he was like a puppeteer, great improver. Sam Voight. Yeah, it was a bunch of nerdy white men, but then we like tried to expand it, get some girls, get more diversity in it. We kind of like handed it down, but it kind of, I think there was like a lot of just so happened to be that people that had like a lot of creativity and a lot of motivation. We formed it together. And we kind of stayed in charge of it, making it happen for 3 years. And when we left and handed it down, I just don't think there was like the same drive and motivation. And it kind of dissipated back into obscurity or not existing for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a club that's ebbed and flowed. It comes back, it goes away.
Yeah, these days we're like a department of WRUR technically now.
Okay.
They merged at some point. I'm not sure exactly when, but... So yeah, we're like formerly WRUR-TV, but no one calls it that. it's URTV.
Right, it doesn't really roll off the tongue. I had a show on WRUR. So things changed a lot at WRUR while I was there. Right before I joined, it was like, or maybe at the beginning when my first year, it was student-run shows 24/7. And they kind of came in and they were like, in order to be profitable or self-funding, we need more listeners. And in order to do that, that means during like normal daytime hours, we're just going to be playing, I forget the word, but it's like basically top 500.
Yeah.
On a, you know, a computer is going to play top 500 tracks. And then at night, students can go on and do their specific shows. So I think my first year I had like a show at 1 o'clock, but then I was like a midnight show or something. The big problem was, you know, there's crazy people listening for swears on the radio 24/7, calling it in. And you got these dopey college students who just forget for a second. They drop an F-bomb and it's like lights out. The school was getting huge amounts of money they were being penalized with every time that happened. And I know it was a big problem. And it was even like, I gotta fly in here, it's Texas. It was even like the number 2 person in charge of it accidentally like swore and got like kicked out of the group. So I was just a member of WRUR, but like I was like very passionate about URTV. There was film from the 1920s of U of R that we got restored, and we were playing that on the station. But also there's, it's funny because it's now almost 20 years since I was there, so it's like vintage footage from when we were there.
So this is Anne-Marie Algier. She is the head of student activities.
I think the class of 2008 is going to be a fantastic class.
So I'd like to introduce to y'all my intern, Tim E. Timmy.
Who would win in a fight, Bush or Kerry?
George Bush.
Why is that?
I think because he's meaner and he's from Texas, not from Massachusetts.
Barack Obama. He's the best. Oh, we hop around. Hop around. Yeah. Like jump up, and get down. Okay.
That'll bring us back to the studio now. What kind of stuff did you use for like editing? I know we have like that old board back there still. Was that?
So the board was for live editing.
Yeah.
So we would shoot, inside the studio. We would do a talk show, a game show. And we would do like a 3 to 4 camera setup, live mixing that onto a tape, and just putting that tape right on. And we would use that for like sports events too, or live events. For editing, I used Final Cut Pro back then. Yep. They taught us Adobe Premiere in class, but back then, that's what I use now. But back then, Final Cut was more what people were using. At least low budget style. One guy was using a program called Vegas Video. It still exists, but it never became the popular thing. And I think I even used iMovie sometimes.
Oh yeah, I started with iMovie, and then I came here and got into like actual Premiere and stuff because the school gave me an Adobe account. So
nice.
I like not having to pay for Adobe.
Sure.
I don't know what I'm gonna do when I graduate. We'll see.
I'll tell you, when I graduated, when I was a freelancer the first time, I was stealing all the software. When I went back to being full-time, had companies paying for it. Because if you have a full-time job, the company will pay for it.
Yeah.
Now I'm a contractor again for the past year, but I feel like I'm established enough that I just pay for it.
I remember reading somewhere that you were publicity chair for URTV at one point. These days, we have like basically, since we're a department of WRUR, it's basically like one position that's TV director, which is me, and then like everyone else is just kind of like my minions that I assign to different tasks.
It's funny, I don't remember that I was publicity. I kind of was most of the time like head of content. Like it was my job to, it was kind of decided I was the one that kind of knew what people would want to watch and would come up with like new concepts and do them. So, there was the head of the technology, the president who was like, faculty facing, funding facing, treasurer who literally just like had our cash in a lockbox, trying to figure out like what equipment we could buy based on how many DVDs we were selling. And then everyone else was just kind of showed up and was happy to be on camera or hold the camera in any way they could. Back then, it was like so hard to make footage look good. I feel like you can like shoot this stuff on iPhones now, and there's like algorithms built into it to make the lighting perfect. You used to have to point like 10 lights at someone to make it look good.
We have some ancient lights in here.
Yeah.
Or like we had like. We thought it was one. We thought we had a good camera. Of course, it was still 4x3. HD kind of came out the year after I graduated.
Mm-hmm. How much time did you spend like just shooting stuff?
When I look back on it, I feel like I spent most of my time editing.
That's also that's very true. Still today.
Of all the forms of art that I like to practice, because I illustrate, I used to sculpt, I animate. I feel like editing's the one thing that you can like. All of a sudden realize it's 5 a.m. and you like don't know where the time went.
I've done that before.
Of course, I figured out by my junior year how to make none of my classes start until 2 p.m. So just stay up all night editing.
Yeah.
We started, we made it a thing to have a couple meetings a week where we were shooting stuff, and we'd assign one person to take that footage home. Hope they didn't lose it on the one tape that it existed on, and it would be like their job to get it edited. Using the live mixer when you could, and of course now they have so much technology where you can like run 3 tapes together, and Premiere knows how to align them and put cuts in it and stuff. I'm very curious what kind of, all this new technology you're using now that's rapidly coming out in the past couple of years.
But
yeah, when I look back on it, it was like there was you ever heard of Lost? The show Lost?
Lost.
The name
I've
sounds
seen Lost.
familiar. I know nothing about it though.
No,
That was like the show everyone watched while I was in college. I never watched it once because our TV club met every Thursday at the exact same time it was on, and we filmed a talk show. I think I filmed. So we had like a talk show that we would, the guests would be like, "Who's running for president of that class right now?" Or like some dancing group or whatever. Bring them on, interview them. There was a guy sitting at the desk with the mic, the classic style. The background looked like total crap. So we shot that every week, and then we would shoot other little vignettes. There was a lot of improvising. Like, let's do a 5-minute video about what happens when the station goes down and how we fix it. Just like trying to be comedic in the moment, and then assign that to one of the 6 of us to take it home and edit it. Certainly there was like a lot of looping stuff, but we kind of tried to like stagger it, so if you watch TV at the same time every day, it would take you like a full week or 2 to like catch the same things. But yeah, like multiple evenings taken up meeting with the TV club and shooting stuff, and then multiple overnights for me editing. But I was fortunate enough that I was a dual major in psychology and studio art, and I was able to use a lot of these videos for my studio art. I think even the setup I did for the game show, I ended up bringing my art class in there and had them using the mixer and using the cameras and being like, this is my like current interactive art piece. So that made it possible, because I wouldn't have had enough hours to also be like producing separate art. But yeah, it was like super motivating because people were watching it. People were walking up to me, telling me they were watching my stuff. It's just like, it was a self-fulfilling loop of wanting to create more to have more people see it. It's different now because now you're on the internet. Everyone's a creator. Different times. More competition. Definitely. More competition for people's attention, right? Because there was like 20 stations on your TV back then, and we were one of them. We always had this goal that we were going to go live. We thought we could have someone with a real heavy backpack walking around the frack quad, and we could get us to go live. But it was the one goal we never met, and that was a long time ago. Because there was no live video on the internet, and there was no Instagram Live, Facebook Live. But yeah, I mean, that's what they say. Live is like the only use of TV anymore, right? Yeah. So I'd say you gotta figure out some niche, because when we had it, it was like, oh, we can be the station that you change the channel to because there's not a commercial on it. Oh yeah. There must be something. There must be some way to make URTV fill a void. I mean, yeah, it doesn't offer seeing your friends in videos.
Exactly. People really like we have a tradition now. I don't know when this started exactly, of just like on like Halloween weekend we go out around, similar to like going around.
I was watching the annual Halloween weekend interview.
Yeah, did that start with you? Or
no, that's after my time.
Okay, so we're still doing that, and that's something that is like that people like a lot. Just they'll come up to me and be like, "Oh, I saw myself on Halloween weekend interviews being drunk or whatever." I'm like, yeah.
What we did a ton of was just being like, go up to someone and be like, say your name, I'm watching URTV, and like some random thing. You can fill hours of time with like these 10-minute bumpers of random people standing in front of things saying something.
Do you have like a favorite thing that you produced for URTV while you were here?
Well, one thing that was really fun at the end was, and I did it for URTV, I made like a power hour.
Hello, I'm Russell Wyner, the current president of URTV. Tonight we have something very special planned for you. It's the first ever URTV Hour of Power. We've gathered a full hour of introductions from your favorite childhood TV shows, and we're going to play them one after another. All you need is this much apple juice and a penny holder. Fill your penny holders with a shot of apple juice. And at the end of every intro, when you see this, you have to drink.
because there wasn't that much video on the internet, so it was like actually kind of work to find a bunch of these intros. A lot of them were on retro junk, and I literally went to every dorm and stuck a piece of paper under the dorm that was like, at this time on this day, like, watch and play the Power Hour. Like, make sure you've got enough to drink and a shot glass and do it. So that was like very memorable. It was a big hit. Something that I didn't produce, someone came to us and wanted to produce, that was a huge hit, was they made like a dating show. Everyone watched that. And I really loved doing the show Nightlife, where I would just go to the frat quad, go out to Uncle Dicky, and do you still have Uncle Dicky there?
I don't think so. This does not ring a bell. Wait.
Uncle, you would know. When I was there was this creepy old guy that had a food truck. He would drive onto the frat quad and feed us all greasy cheese fries and stuff while we were drunk.
Well, it's never the end of a night at the frat quad without visiting good old Uncle Dicky.
Hello there. Welcome to my castle.
And I made this game show. It was like an actual Jeopardy board made of paper. I'd bring like different clubs who were competitive with each other to come play against each other. We like wired buzzers that they were like, it was kind of like Jeopardy meets Double Dare, because there was the physical challenges, but they were like drinking games. And that was like all trivia about the school, you know, like name the frat parties.
Can I have sorority parties for 200, Alex Russ?
That's me, Alex Russ. Harvest Moon. Amos.
Phi Sigma Sigma.
Right. Can we look at the picture? I'm really proud of that one. Look at that. It's a harvest moon. Okay. Pumpkin butt.
The most fun was probably going out, filming what's happening in every party, random student A and B over here are having an argument about the crisis in this part of the world, so let's shoot a little bit of that debate. None of the talk shows were like that impressive. They did fill the airwaves, and there was like little bits on them. We did like the Conan O'Brien, like replace the mouth, right? Show like the dean whose job was to punish all the students and like cut his mouth out and like talk for him and stuff like that.
President Joel Seligman. Oh my God! It's President Joel Seligman. Welcome to the show, President Joel Seligman. How are you?
Oh, things are just great.
Did you have any like fun relics in the TV room when you started out?
I mean, there was this nasty couch in there. There was no room. We requested a room. They gave us a room. I feel like we just like put this junk couch that we found in there. The room was like a narrow hallway almost. It was like we had the cameras at one end of the hall with the people sitting at the other, and it was like constant challenge how to like fit everything in the room and walk around without being on camera. We like one day we just made the set, and it was just all this junk. It was like the slate where you say, you know, Act 3, Take 2. That was like in the background, and we hung an on-air sign. Yeah, that was there. Oh my God, a bird just flew in my window and died. So we were on the top floor of the library at the end of it was like it was great because I had like a key to that. You know when you have to like hand in your papers and it's like you have to hand, well, I don't know if you do that anymore. We had to hand in hard copy papers.
No, we all do. We're like pretty much digital with
Right, what am I even talking about? You know, we had to like, when it was time to like choose your classes, you had to like wake up at 4 a.m. and like wait in the line like you're like trying to get a last minute ticket to a concert. And you'd like camp out maybe to like get the class you wanted. It was nuts. But while I was in school, I think they added, you know, choosing your classes online. But yeah, so we had a different room than you. It was a little more oddly long and narrow, but it kind of, it's similar. It's like you have a room that you don't exactly, you know what? The fire marshal got real mad at us because we had like all this lighting equipment dangling from the ceiling with the flammable stuff. I mean, it's almost a miracle we didn't light the building on fire with what we were doing.
When you graduated, and you know, what did you have like? What kind of what did you try to like leave behind for like passing on the club to future members?
So yeah, that was like a thing. It was, you know, pretty much all of us who started the club together. We were sophomores when we started it. and it like traveled with us to being juniors, and then when we were seniors, it was like, guys, we got to figure out how to pass this thing down. It's gonna die with us. I made sure that we had a female vice president because I didn't want to just turn into this group of dweebs that no one wanted to be part of. And she was, you know, very talented and intelligent. The other guys didn't realize it. I forced it. I basically threw a polite tantrum that you gotta, you know, this is a co-ed group. You gotta have representation. And then we made the two most technical people younger than us who had been the only ones to like produce anything on their own. We made them like they were dual presidents. Oh no, one of them we made the president, and then we made Katie the vice president. It really wasn't enough because the club did disintegrate a year or two later. And I even was really disappointed when I saw some footage. You know, you go walk around the frat quad and there's like sometimes like a line to get into a party. Yeah. And it would be like we'd have the dumb little camera thing, and it's like, oh, URTV, like come in, cut the line, come in. And then I saw like a few years later they were like trying to do that show, and the frat was like, no, you're a bunch of like nerds, you can't come in. I was like, what happened to the club? Like, we used to have VIP access to these parties for having a camera. Now they're getting rejected. So, you know, honestly, I was hoping that we're going to leave this legacy of students that wanted a creative outlet to like, you know, we're so self-taught. It was so motivating to really just like learn how to do it all your own in your room, make whatever you could imagine. And it was great that we could have people multiple times a week, multiple people would come together with the goal to shoot something that could be edited into a video. I mean, it's really hard to, in the real world, it's so hard to get, you know, and for free. It costs a lot of money to get a bunch of people to show up to do something. So I think there's like something really magical about when you're in college and you're just like making art for the sake of art or entertainment for the sake of entertainment. Like, I really had wished that it had just, you know, stayed in the student light, but it's a lot of work. You know how it goes. It's probably getting a little easier, but there's always some wire that's not working, or you forget to hit record, or you didn't check the microphone, and there's always something going wrong. Everything takes so much longer to set up than you think. It takes so long to take down. You really have to like decide, okay, I'm in the TV club. That means like some nights I'm not going to go out drinking. I'm going to like stay home and edit videos. Or I'm not going to like try as hard to study for this test. I'm just going to like make this awesome video. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, if that's like the world you want to maybe get into after, if you're not going to become a scientist, but you might become someone who makes video or animation or what, then it is worth your while to spend more time with that. I mean, I personally use the things I learned in URTV more than the stuff I learned in class. But that's because I am in that world still. You know, I knew I was passionate about it. Basically, I wanted to go to art school. My parents were like, that's insane. You can't do that. There's no jobs. You'll be a starving artist, right? Because they came from the world where artists meant you painted. They didn't see the digital revolution coming. And the art... There's an art program. I think there were 6 majors with me. So I dual majored in psychology because I was always fascinated in psychology. And that was kind of like my safety. But I was like, I don't want the responsibility. So I was always passionate about animation and film and video. I ended up going into that. And had I not spent really the majority of my energy making URTV while I was there, I would have, learned and done so much less. I always tell people when you're in school, in creative classes, you learn more from the people sitting next to you than you learn from the teachers. Whereas something that's more science or history, you kind of are sitting there, you're absorbing the lecture, taking the notes. But when you're like making these student videos, it's really like you're getting the ideas from other students, the collaboration. So yeah, I think just like keep trying to make there be at least one weekly meeting where you're going to produce stuff, if not 2. And and it'll start to snowball, and you look back after a year or two, and it's just like, wow, we've created so much content. You know, and having other people taking turns being the one to edit it, that's what we did. You'll never have a time in your life, well, it can happen. I did have a job where we got super popular, people were watching us, and I felt, when it happened, I was like, this is like URTV again. It's like, I'm making something because I know a million people are going to watch this, and it's like, that's the motivation. Yeah, you know, you can have a job in TV, film, video that will pay your bills. You know, unless you're like the most famous person, you're not going to be like a millionaire. You know, if you really want all the money, you're going to go into finance or be a doctor. But you do this stuff because it's like creatively motivating. You want to do your job, make your vacation your vocation. So, URTV to me was just like this time in my life where I learned so much, self-taught, taught by the people around me, with just the common goal of being creative and having other students be fans of our work. We had back then, do you guys still have like school provided telephones in your dorm room?
We do.
No.
That was a thing. I guess it makes sense that would be a thing, but
you
not
can still
not
go
anymore.
Through IT and request it, but it's
Really?
like $45 a year or something. It's not
I didn't even
standard
know you could request
anymore.
it.
Yeah, so there was a landline in every dorm room.
Huh.
It was like 4 and then like 4 numbers to dial any person on campus.
Huh.
So we actually had like a answering machine where anyone in the school could call and leave a message for us.
Tell us something you want to see. Just call our hotline for URTV.
So we would play these things back, and people would like make requests, and we'd make these like dopey videos that were just based on someone requesting something. Or it was like someone saw something and they were requesting for us to replay it, and we'd like show that with like a waveform to the answering message, and then play the thing. But that was a cool way to make it interactive. So like, I think you guys really should try to do a live show. That's like been a goal of the TV station for 2 decades. No one's been able to do it. I feel like it's at the point. Though maybe I'm wrong, because now everyone can just go on Facebook Live or Instagram Live. And
Used to be Channel 4, right?
that was later.
That was later?
I think it was originally Channel 22 when I was there.
Oh, really? I never.
And while I was there, it got changed to 4. We literally had graphics that were like the 22 crossed out with a 4 in front of it.
Nice. Yeah, we're 3.2 now.
So my advice would be like, never put the channel number in the graphics.
Did you originally have like your own logo design, or did
We had a couple logos we designed. One of them was like the word UR and then like URTV. Part of it was italic, part of it wasn't, with like 2 streaks cut out of it. And then we also would use a TV that was like anthropomorphized with arms.
Wait, like this one?
I think it might be
that
that
was
one.
it.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yep.
That was our camera.
Yeah, we still have
You
this
probably don't
thing.
even have a wire that can charge that thing anymore.
We still have the wire, and I think we've used it once.
It's funny because I feel like the way that thing looks is like super in right now, right?
Yeah, no, all the like old 2000s
yeah.
aesthetics are back now, I guess.
Between that
yeah, you
and
could like
this ancient thing.
film something on that, and now it's cool. But back then it was like so frustrating. It was like, how do I make this look like real TV? I can't figure it out.
That's
but now
the
it's
camera
like
we'll film the URTV
everything that's
on.
bad about it is
With.
beautiful now. Yeah, that was the logo. I think we had like T-shirts that were like, I mean, it was like so chauvinist. It was like URTV, as big as you've heard it is. It was like just like a penis joke. And on the back of the shirt, it was like the TV was like taking a piss on all of like the Peacock and all the like real TV stations, like urine dripping on like real TV logos from like the URTV TV.
We do that.
Do you have any of those shirts around still?
I can try to see if I'll see if I have that shirt. I feel like I don't have it. My wife wears my WRUR shirt though.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like 130 pounds in college, so I can't really wear my clothing anymore. But yeah, she wears the WRUR. Great shirt. Different radio. I got questions for you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, like, I'm interested to know, because nowadays, I'm sure there's a ton of people on campus who are just, like, making videos that they're putting on, like, TikTok or whatever. Because for us, it was like there was nowhere to put it, so it was like, oh, URTV, a place to put our stuff. So what is URTV and the motivation to make stuff for URTV versus all the other available channels that are kind of more at your fingertips?
For me, at least, I'll say, well, I mean, maybe I'm not the best example because I don't have, like, any social media in general. Like, I don't really do that. So I guess I'm a rare-ish case. But yeah, I think it's, for me, because, like, you know, when you have something like TikTok or whatever, I feel like a lot of the things that people do on that are not, like, crazy edited or whatever. It's just, you know, short little video, just film it, put it out there. So for me, URTV is definitely a place to do, like, more something that you film and you edit and, like, have, like, a vision that you then kind of just bring into, like, a final... It's just something that you can create and be, like, more proud of rather than just, oh, I'm going to film this on a whim and put it up somewhere. Yeah, and I obviously, like, the community aspect of it is also a big thing for me.
Yeah, I was going to say personally, like, the reason I joined was mostly for the community, but also equipment as well.
Oh, yeah, because we have so much equipment that no one else has, like, when they're filming on their phones or whatever. Like, I mean, phone cameras are... They work, but, like,
I'd say they may outclass some of our older cameras.
Some of the old
they
ones,
might
maybe,
outclass
but,
this.
Yeah. But, yeah, we have probably the best, like, just set of film equipment on campus.
Also, a lot of those outlets that people have access to has actually helped URTV grow a little more.
That's awesome.
Because people now are growing up interested in a lot of these things, and this is like that's where a lot of us came from, and this is a good place to grow, produce that stuff, maybe get interested in it, gain more experience in it, and really gain people that have, like, interests.
Yeah, I can definitely attest it. Like, yeah. I've been doing, like, video related content stuff, like animations, really bad gaming videos since I was, like, probably like 12 or 13 or something like that, but, like, I've always worked alone pretty much because, like, I knew nobody else in my school who was, like, interested in doing this. So, like, this kind of thing just seems like these are my people kind of thing, you know? Like, I feel like I found my tribe, you know?
Yeah, no,
so, like,
definitely.
It definitely is a nice change of pace to have more than one person working on something.
Like a film with more than 2 people in it, that's crazy.
We're at, like, a dozen people now, and being able to really have that group of people be able to produce things. It's great.
It's really nice.
Especially after the film, because for me it was always like have a group of friends over, make a thing, and then I just work on it for like a month or two.
Yeah, being able to outsource editing when I have too much homework is a perk.
Yeah, so one more question is, like, are people using AI to do new things with it yet?
URTV, as of yet, has not delved into AI. When we did the soup video, part of me wanted to... This is gonna basically no context, but there was a bit in the soup video where we were selling the soup, and it was just, like, getting progressively more, like, deranged. And at one point we were like, buy our soup. We were chained by the ghost of Winston Churchill to sell soup for eternity. And so I wanted at one point to do, like, a deepfake of Winston Churchill at the end of that video, like, cursing us to sell soup or something. That we didn't end up doing that, but it's definitely something where, like, especially now, it's getting really, really crazy, like, how powerful it is, and it's something that interests me a lot. I mean, I'm a computer science major, so it's definitely something where I've thought of, like, if I am ever able to, like, get my hands on some of like the AI software, like AI programs, and messing around with them, it would definitely be something that I would mess with, like, on URTV. I wouldn't want to make, like, fully, like, AI generated content, obviously, because that's just, like, not creative.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to do something stupid, like have AI write a script and then just, like, make it into a video and play it completely straight or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be really funny. Or like,
But yeah. It's a really interesting area for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's clearly like a baby that's gonna change, but
it's
it'll be really interesting.
It feels like
Because for me, I use AI to like help me write little snippets of code and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't really been using it to generate things because I feel like it all kind of looks the same right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
one day.
Yeah, but it's interesting. So I'll have like, it's at the point right now where like my client can put in the text prompt and be like, I want you to make an animation that looks like this. And it's kind of annoying because I'm like, this guy has no clue how hard this is to do. He just like wrote 2 words and now he's like upset I haven't like animated a minute of footage in like a day or something, right? So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It makes me think, well, there's like, I'm sure you thought about all this stuff. We don't need to delve into the AI conversation, but it's like, the 2 metaphors I see so clearly would be 80s music, which got like so over-synthesized, right? It was like, ooh, and now it's cool again. But it was like, it was like, oh my god, we can make electronic sounds. Everything needs to be electric pianos, right? And then like people hated the 80s after. It was like a hated era of music. Only a few songs sound good with that. So then it like went into like 90s grunt. It was like, let's get all the technology out of it. I could see there being this like like people are basically gonna want to remove AI from everything after we like over AI it all. But what's probably more realistic is like when there was, in the old days, art was just like painting realism, right? Then they like invented the camera, and it was like, oh, we got to do surrealism, we got to do impressionism.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. Like, there's definitely still going to be this. It's like a new medium. There's so much creativity that you can like apply outside of the AI. So it'll be interesting to see. And clearly, right now it's like easy to do images, videos look weird. People are like eating themselves, but like I'm sure in a year it's gonna be like crazy good. So yeah, it's like important to stay on top of it and make sure you can like understand what can be done. So that gives you a good idea of how to do a creative thing like on the outside of it using it. But yeah, so guys, I'm like so happy that you reached out to me. It like means the world because URTV was like, even though I've been out of school since 2006, it's always been like a super important part of my like creative development in my life. Like someone off camera was saying, I was a kid that was making little stop motion videos all the time by myself. So when I got to school and linked up with a few other people that were like into it, it just like advanced me so quickly to have that collaboration. It's like truly the most beneficial thing I did in school.
And once again, like, thank you so much for doing this interview. This
is that?
Baby? Oh, dog. But
the
yeah.
dog's not
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'm glad that we know where the Donkey Kong bongos came from now.
That's the main takeaway from this whole thing.
That's the big takeaway.